All right, thank you so much for joining us on our 127th edition of Lunch Out Loud Ottawa. My name is Nick Petruski, and we have special co-host this week,
Sean McDonnell,
who was a former guest, and now we have a special guest host because Andrew's getting married this weekend. So he's marrying an amazing lady, Mally. I hope you're listening, and I hope the wedding is fun. I'm shipping out there to Mount Tremblant this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. So before we get to our this is Lunch Out Loud Ottawa, a podcast that talks to the people, places, events, and music that make this city the incredible city that it is. And before we get to our very special guest, Mr. Michael Holland on his birthday, why don't we check this out?
Hey, what's up? This is Jordan and Chris from Suits and Toques, and you're listening to Lunch Out Loud.
We're a ska punk band here from Ottawa, and if you like what you're hearing, you can check us out on Facebook, our Bandcamp page, or listen to us live this Friday at Whole Foods at Lansdowne as part of Marvest.
Someone else has a plan for you. Days of ambition are done, gone like the setting sun. And even if you got a plan for yourself, someone still has a plan for you. Set now, you're going uphill. Your move, what you gonna do? Ain't ready to quit just yet.
All right, so thank you so much, Suits and Toques. That song was Crossed Arms, Furrow and Brows off their new album, Forno. And of course, catch them 7 p.m. for free at Whole Foods as part of the Marvest Festival going on this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right after them will be the Alex Rea Band, so they're a great band there too. And then just go around the whole glebe. If you don't have tickets to see Van Morrison, go out there and check it out. Of course, do it on Saturday as well. And of course, at halftime, we're going to have Jen from Foodie Prince, who will tell us about Taste of Wellington West, as well as Sean will tell us in a second. She will also tell us about Chinatown Remixed, and a Scotch tasting dinner at Petit Bill's Bistro. That should be a lot of fun. So that's at halftime. And before we get to Michael, just Sean, you're a very interesting guest. We got a lot of positive feedback going. This guy was a little bit crazy in the awesome sense, because he's always up to doing something in the community that's going to be a lot of fun. So it was a few months ago that we had you, so if you can update us with how some of the events went, because we were talking about the Air Your Dirty Laundry.
Yeah.
So how did that go, and what else can we expect going forward from it?
Air Your Dirty Laundry was lots of fun. It was right here in Hindenburg. We had 100 t-shirts and 100 pairs of underpants all strung out throughout the neighborhood, and all kinds of people took it. There was, some people took it really funny, some people took it really serious. We had the whole gamut, and it went really well. The website was up, the book, we're starting to put together a little book. We're talking about doing it in other neighborhoods now, and it was a lot of fun, and we're going to keep breaking all the rules.
Yeah. And what other events have you been up to this summer?
This summer's been busy, actually. I was mostly been out doing some speaking tours, telling adults how to be better adults, and better kids, rather, and stop being a boring adult. So I went out on a little tour across Canada and did a little speaking there, and we're getting ready for some canoe projects and a couple other projects around the city right now. So we're gearing up.
Yeah, so especially like this weekend, you're doing a lot for the Taste of Wellington West. So can you tell us about the Wellington West? What's going on here this weekend?
Yeah, so on this very busy Saturday, probably one of the busiest Saturdays of Ottawa, it seems like.
Yeah.
We've got, right now, there's 34 businesses in the Wellington West BIA that are participating in the Scrabble game that we got going on. So every business, or all the 34 businesses, have their own word that associates them with their word. People are trying to go around. There's a whole playing card game where you can take a guess, and you can win one of 5 $100 gift cards to any one of those 35 businesses. So that's the game that's going on, promoting it. And then we got the Taste of Wellington West, which is all the amazing shop, food, art, and all that stuff that's happening here, and all the shops are being able to showcase what they do best.
Are the streets shut down for this, or are they going to be open? It's just on the sidewalks?
Yeah,
Mainly
the streets won't be shut down. But there'll be a ton of pedestrians out there walking around and stuff. People will have stuff out on the sidewalks, and there'll be bands throughout the different areas and different kid zones in different areas. So you can it's totally family friendly. Bring all your kids and enjoy the day.
And where can people pick up the Scrabble game?
Yeah, so the playing cards are out. So if you see a set of letters in the window, you can pick up any of the playing cards in the business windows, or on the day on Saturday, you can pick it up at the Great Canadian Theatre Company. So there'll be a volunteer and a little booth out there where you can pick up any of the cards and play along.
And where do you drop them off at the end?
Back again at 3 p.m. at the Great Canadian Theatre Company.
There you go.
And if you get in before then, you're good to go.
Any hints, Michael, to your terms?
It's tattooed on my knuckles.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I think we can figure that one out.
Yeah.
I'll have a few graphic.
Somebody asked me if they had a hint. I said, you just got to go look at the owner. Holland said, just look at him. I said, you don't got to talk to him. Just look at him.
Just look at him. Don't converse.
No, don't ask him anything. Just look at him.
But of course, if you're going to Holland's Cake and Shake, located on Armstrong Street, what's it?
229 Armstrong?
229
At
Armstrong.
Parkdale?
On Parkdale. A lot of people are always confused, Holland's Cake and Shake, because they're like, is it on Holland?
Yeah.
You get that
That
probably.
was, because what happens, I picked the name before I picked the location, and I found this location. I loved it so much. It just happened to be, I was like a block away from Holland Street, so some people still don't understand, but it doesn't matter anyways. It's my last name. That's the reason why it's called Holland's Cake and Shake. So that's it.
And it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you very much.
And with all of our guests, we like to get to know them a little more and get to know, because you don't just associate yourself only with Holland's Cake and Shake, you associate yourself with the community. What are some other favorite restaurants that you would go to as well? Possibly for your birthday dinner.
Well, tonight I'm going to Atelier, so Mark Lepine's restaurant. Because I worked with him on and off for about 3 years, so I'm obviously a huge fan of his, and I get along with him, and he's an incredible chef. I really like Clover. West is an amazing chef, and her food is very, very good. Where else? There's so many chefs. Ottawa's kind of unique, where there's so many restaurants that are independent, and you have these amazing chefs, and they're all doing something unique. And so you don't see that in too many other cities. So it's like I try to every once in a while try to check out a new restaurant. So there's too many to name. But I mean, it's just
What's one of the latest restaurants you got a chance to check out?
I actually tried 5 in one night. So it was for a special staff thing I did. I took. We did a different course at each restaurant.
Okay.
So I started off at Atelier for course 1, then we went to Clover, then I went to Lower Town, and then we went to, actually it was only 4, and then we ended off at Stephen LaSalle. It was at the Albion Room. Sorry.
And you
so
you just had such a good experience, you couldn't quite make it to the 5th.
No, well,
it was too good.
It was we had the charcuterie plate at the end. It was amazing. That was our dessert. We don't need cake, so it's and we were already drinking at every restaurant. It's
we
had enough, and so it was fun. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, and Steve would take care of. So you hit up all of the Bytown Chefs Collective, basically.
Yes, basically.
And that was you taking all your staff out.
Yeah, well, because we did this massive catering, so it's the most sandwiches we ever did in a week. We did almost 1,000 sandwiches that week, and so I just wanted to take my staff out to thank them, and we did a really good job, and it was just to celebrate. So I wanted to be able to go to. Because I know a lot of chefs in the city. I talked to them, can you do this for me? And they were super happy and excited to do it. So that's
great.
That's
amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. 1,000 sandwiches from one local shop in 1 week.
In a week, yeah.
Yeah.
So and you make all your bread yourself.
So the bread,
everything you make yourself.
Everything was made in So we were baking. We started at 4 a.m. baking the bread every day. And just making bread. That's all we did all week. So we did a lot of bread.
What would you do in what's 1,000 sounds like a lot. What would you do normally?
It would be half of that.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
To double the business in 1 week just to do catering. It was more than double, but yeah. So it's it was busy.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I was there that week, and everybody was working hard. That's amazing. How did you come up with it? So Holland's Cake and Shake. If you don't know, I brought Michael on because Holland Cake and Shake has quickly become basically one of my favorite restaurants in the city. main reason, and if you listen to this show, you know how much I love creativity. We have Creative Vision on, Sean. I love creativity. I love people stepping outside of the box, and to create a concept where I have to go on Facebook and check every single week, twice a week, to see what the 2 sandwiches are and to see what kind of desserts you've come up with is just, I think that's incredible to come up with something that creative and always test boundaries and always make me go, I don't even know how you would make that. And so
Today's sandwich.
Today's sandwich was amazing.
A little bit of broccoli, little chips.
The chips on the sandwich. So how did you come up with the concept behind Hans Cake and Shake in the first place?
I guess when I worked with Mark, at one point he was changing the menu every month. And so I liked the idea of constantly changing. So I decided, all right, I'm going to change the menu every week, which at the time sounded like a really good idea. But when you actually do it, it's a lot of work. And you're constantly thinking of ideas. So we're used to it now. Like, it's just, we don't even think about it. But it's just to keep things fresh. And so every week is different. So you always have different cakes. You always have different sandwiches. If you come in, you could come in every day and you would have a different sandwich. And that's kind of the point, because I support a lot of the people in the area at work. So they come a lot, those are my main customers, so I make them happy. And I just get bored really, really fast. I don't like doing the same thing over and over again, so that's why I change things. And it keeps us fresh. And I end up like learning more, and I develop new recipes and new skills, and it just works out that way, and people love it, and people will come just to see and try the new things. And it's like, you don't get that in an average bakery.
No,
people don't go back every day for a chocolate cake.
No, right.
So
we're outside at the Parkdale Parkdale Market. So it's a little windy. We apologize. Production values. That's an iTunes comment. Well, what is one recent ingredient that you came up with that you did not think was possible, but in the end it turned out better than expected, or something that you really had to experiment with?
I've never, again, working with Mark, I've never been afraid to use anything. It's just when you're on your own and you're selling something, you do realize that when you use certain ingredients, they're not going to sell. It doesn't matter how good it is, people are not going to buy it. So when you start getting into certain vegetables, it's tough, and it's really, really good. But when you use sriracha in a cake form, it's very hard to sell. Nachos, I've done different versions of it and plated desserts, but in a cake form, it's very hard to sell. So you kind of, I just kind of learned to be. I'm a little bit more reluctant to use certain ingredients, just because it's otherwise I lose money. But I'm never afraid to try anything. I'll do anything once.
Do you know if you've in all the times now, all these different sandwiches and cakes, have you duplicated anything yet, or do you know? Or
sandwiches, it's not we duplicate. We'll just take that sandwich and make it even better. So there's always the idea of ham and cheese. It's a classic, but we keep changing it. So whether it's ham and cheese, whether it's ham and Swiss and then different components, or with cheesies, with chips, we've tried so many different combinations. We'll maybe repeat a sandwich maybe twice a year, and it's not even intentional. We just the only one we repeat once in a while is the muffaletta, because people love it, and we'll do that once a month. But besides that, we try not to repeat anything. We just keep changing it.
And we were in today, and of course the roast beef was sold out. That was an interesting concept. We should have organized this earlier, but that means I have to probably come back tomorrow. But that's all good. So how did you get started in the kitchen? Where was your start?
Well, because I'm from Toronto, so I don't know, I've always been good at baking, so it's just something I did as a kid. My grandfather was a baker, so I learned from him. And then I originally actually wanted to be a forensic scientist, but my guidance counselor convinced me to become a chef. So it's
that's a different as a...
well, thank God for her or him.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Ottawa.
So, anyways, I ended up pursuing it. So I started off as a chef, which is why I'm able to do all the savory things. And then I just switched to pastry.
At what age did you start off as a chef?
It would have been right after high school, so it would have been 18, 19. But I'd already been doing it for a few years before then, so I was probably a chef for 4 or 5 years, and I switched to pastry. But even then, I was still doing pastry, because no one likes doing pastry.